Good morning, boys. Today I'm just going to go through, as we discussed in class, how to make the front wing for your downforce racer. So I'm just going to make a real basic one with some common dimensions that will work. But again, this is completely up to you and what your designs are. So if you're struggling with Onshape, follow a bit more closely. But if you sort of understand the concept, the main thing all we have to do is make sure that those tabs that hook onto the side of the car and those little tabs that hang down the front, they line up with our front spoiler. Apart from that, we're pretty flexible on what your design can be. Obviously, lightness and weight and shape is really important here. So just to get started again, quick refresh. I'm going to go create a new document. I'm going to label it DFR Front Wing. I'm going to say demo. So I'm just going to go create, and that will load up. As that's loading up, a couple of dimensions we need to be familiar with. So firstly, we know that the tab we're going to make is 10, the material we have is 3, so remember that the rectangles will be 10 by 3 later on, but also that the gap between those tabs has to be 43, so that's something we've got to remember and come back to later on. And there's a couple of different ways of making. Your teacher may have shown you a different way, and that's completely okay. So in here, again, sketch plane is important, so I'm going to go sketch, click on top view because I'm going to look at most likely it's going to be a flat edge, and then there's some curves on the side. So I'm going to go top view, going to go to a geometric cube here and rotate it to our edge there. From here, a couple of options. You go center point, like we did in class, or corner rectangle. So if I go a corner rectangle here, all right, I'm simply going to take it from the center line to the right hand side. And I know that my axle for my car, and I want my front wing to be the same width as the outside of my wheels. So the outside of my wings, outside of my wheels is lined up. So what I need to do is I need to work out how wide my axle was and how wide each wheel is. So I know that my axle was cut at 100 mil and that each wheel is 20. So I know that the overall length is going to be 140, but I'm going to make it in a half shape and then simply flip and mirror it for the other side. Say's doing this, the flares and the guard parts twice. So I'm going to know that half of 140 is 70. So I'll type in 70. And then I'm going to go from there down. I know it has to be at least 10. So I'm going to make this 35. I'm actually go 30 for this one. So I'm going to make the side 30. So from here, I already know that this is going to be the half size of what I need. I'm going to then mirror it to the other side once I've completed on this edge. So with regards to that, I know from the center line, so between the two, I need to have a 43 gap. So I know that 43, I need a half 43 for when I draw this. So I go corner rectangle, and I know that the size has to be 10 high, and it needs to be 3 wide because that's the size of the tab on our side part they're going to clip onto it. Alright, so that's there. I now need to position where I want it to position, so if I have it further back or further forward, depending on how much wing you want over the front. So I'm just going to go here, and this is completely up to you guys. So you guys can choose this based on what you've researched and understood. So I'm just going to make this 10. Alright, so it's not going to be exactly in the middle, alright, but it's going to be pretty close to the middle because I'm just happy with that 10 mil from there. Then from this line to this line, I know that it needs to be 43 total. So I need to work out half of 43, which is 21.5. Okay. Now, that should be spaced 21.5 in the middle. So when I mirror it, should be 21.5 and 21.5, which is 43. So I'm going to go green tick here. I'm now going to go to the extrude function. I'm going to click on this. I want to extrude this, keep that tab empty. I only want to extrude 3 mil because that is the thickness of the material. Oops. So let's fix that up. Alright, go to isometric view. Alright, and that is all good there. So now what I want to do is I want to add a side part to it. So I want to add a little bit of a flare at the side to sort of shape that wind. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rotate my view to the right view. And I'm going to draw on here. So I'm going to go sketch, and I want to sketch on this plane, so the end part there, which you can see is now highlighted. So I'm going to sketch on that. I'm then going to start off by doing a line. So you want to make this a complete shape. So I want to make it go up 25. So that's going to be 25 mil up. So that might a little bit higher. So this is where we've sort of brainstormed and come up with our idea. So I'm going to go 15. All right, so maybe a smaller one here. From here, what I'm going to do is go to our spline tool. And this is where you can look at the curvature of your shape there. So you can see now it's shaded in. I'm going to go escape, so go back to my view, check my isometric view so I can check how it's positioned here and see how it's got a little bit of an extra part in there. So I can go back and trim that later. I can leave that. It's completely up to you what we do here. I'm going to go green tick. I'm now going to select, extrude this part and this part. So it's two parts, and I don't want to go 25 mil. I simply want that extrusion to be maybe 2 mil. I'm going to go green tick. Oh. And you can see now that we've got this little bit sticking out the top. So we can go back and edit to change it. Again, this is up to you what your design is. So what I'm going to do actually here is just to make this a little bit smoother and look a little bit nicer in a quick and easy ways. I'm going to go back to my second sketch. I'm going to right click and go edit. And this line here, I'm just going to go Control Z. I'm just going to make it alright, I'm going to go draw my line across the bottom here. That's going to extend past the point of our flat tab. I'm going to make that a set distance of 34. Now I'm going to put my spline. So I'm just clicking and trying to move to get the desired angle that I'd like. Alright, so if that's going to be my shape, I can then come back and click on certain parts here and change that. So I'm just going to go like that. Again, completely up to you what your side of your shape is. You can make this come down as well. Again, that's up to you. And now you can say this is going to be my side. So that's my side profile. Now all I need to simply do to complete my front wing, alright, is I'm going to rotate the cube to the side here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to now go to our mirror function. I want to mirror this part on this plane. And now I have my spoiler, sorry, my front wing. I'm simply going to then click here with using the rule tool, and now it says it's 43 between, which means it's going to fit. Double check that it looks like it is what you wanted in your head. That is a simple front wing. This steps and processes I did for the front wing is essentially the exact same as what you wanted to do for your rear wing. This is a very basic, simple process. It's a simple design, but this is a really good starting point for you guys, and then from here you can build upon different ideas that you had. So again, a couple of simple steps. Build half, so half the length that you want. Make sure this is 10 by 3. You put an end plate on it, and then you simply go to the mirror function. Okay, so that's 4 key steps we need in building our front wing.